Two guys in their early 50s with one dream: to achieve middle-aged sporting glory. This is the Missing Links Golf Show. There's times in your life when you don't know that you just need to hear something. And I feel like, from my perspective at least, Andy Walker, I needed that injection of two guys with one dream to achieve middle-aged sporting glory, just to, just get that back in there. Remember what we're all about.
For the 99th time.
Oh, how about that?
Yes. Yeah, we're one short of the ton.
Wow.
So all we've got to do is just play conservative, just push one through covers and run hard. That's it. And we're there. We can raise the bat.
No stupid calls and unnecessary run outs at this stage of the game, Andy Walker, is my advice. I don't want any yes, no, sorry type scenarios. No Michael Slaters from the 1990s.
No.
Didn't mind.
I think Warnie had a 99, top score of 99, didn't he, as well?
So, interesting point. Warnie never got a test 100. His highest score, you're correct, was 99.
That was a commentator's curse, wasn't it? Didn't?
No, better than that. I've got a better story for you than that, Andy Walker.
Okay.
I don't know if you've heard this, but strap yourself in. So, it was against New Zealand. And he hit a sweep shot and was caught on the deep mid-wicket boundary off the bowling of Daniel Vittori, left-arm orthodox spinner.
Yep.
It was a no ball.
Oh, seriously?
And it wasn't called, and it was in the days before the third umpire checked front foot no balls for every dismissal.
Wow.
Go back and look at the footage on YouTube.
Yeah.
And Vittori was well and truly over the line. It was a no-y. It should have been called back. Warnie should have had a test 100.
Yep.
God rest his soul.
Yep. Yeah. So, did lots of other great things.
Shane Keith.
Yeah.
Not to be confused with David Clarence Boone or Donald George Bradman. Oh, wow. We are so off topic. It's not funny, but that's great. Middle names of Australian Test cricketers. That's a whole podcast series in itself. But that's not this one, because this one is the Missing Links Golf Show. We're here to talk to you about golf, and that is what we are going to do, Andy Walker. And I'm happy to say...
A bit of golf's been played. I'm very happy to hear.
Yeah, from what I hear, a lot of golf's been played.
A lot of golf's been played. Not enough, and then too much.
Yeah, you want to play as often as possible, but not too much at the one time. I think is the story. But we will get to that, because what we need to do first, and we've been a little bit slack on this front, and I take full responsibility for this, Andy Walker, not your fault at all, is we need to wrap up the month that was for the Missing Links Golf Show Yearly Championship for the month of September.
So there's been a few holidays, so I mean, can't be too hard on you.
Thanks, I appreciate the understanding. Nevertheless, Pilgrims, I do apologise for the tardiness in getting these results out. But let's crack into that, Andy Walker, because it was quite a month in terms of the Yearly Championship. There was a bit that happened. There was a few rounds of golf. There were some unexpected results.
Yep. I do realise that I didn't get a round of golf in September. Well, not a comp round anyway. I did actually get a comp round in it when I was on holidays in Penang, but unfortunately that didn't count. Really go down as a comp round, and couldn't get submitted into the yearly championship. Not that he would have won any points anyway, but that's a whole different story.
That is a moot point in and of itself. So there were a few rounds, in fact, so many rounds that came in that unfortunately my two rounds at the New South Wales Country Championships at the beautiful Cowra Golf Club with 30 and 31 points respectively did not feature in the top 6 point scoring, which I know will come as a surprise to many. But nevertheless, at least I did play a comp round or two in the month. I still don't get any points. Doesn't really make any difference, but it's not a
there were two comp rounds.
There were, and I enjoyed them. So, takes us to the point. So, in sixth place, scoring, I'm happy to say, his inaugural point in the yearly championship. And you know where this is going, Andy Walker.
I do know where that's going.
He takes a 1 point lead over you in the yearly championship. It gives me great pleasure to announce that in sixth place was Mick Patterson. Well done, Mick.
Well done, Mick. I'm chasing.
It's exciting. I'm so excited about that result. So Mick Patterson, let me just add it all up. He's got, what's 1 plus nothing? He's got 1 point in the yearly championship, Andy Walker, and you've got, hang on a minute, let me just go through that. You've got 0. Mick's got a 1 point lead. It's great. It's such good work. So
is Mick a front runner, do you think?
I'm going to go so far as to say that he cannot win the yearly championship from here because mathematically.
But I mean, he did say after posting his score in the Facebook group that his main goal for this year was to beat me.
Is to beat
which he is at the moment.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah,
October's yet to be played. October's yet to be played. But yes, he is in front, technically, on the scoreboard. I don't know. It's going to be a ding-dong battle, I think. We'll see.
So that was 34 points, yeah?
That was 34 points.
If I remember correctly.
34 points, yep. That's exactly what it was. We then move straight into a countback.
Ooh.
On 35 points. We've got both Ted from Mollymook and Lucas Anderson from, not from Western Australia, but in fact from South Australia, both on 35 points. Both had 9s of 17 and 18.
Ooh, okay. Yeah.
But not in the same order.
Ah.
Which means...
So someone's come home strong.
Slightly stronger.
Stronger,
slightly stronger. Which means that in 5th place with 2 yearly championship points to his tally is Lucas Anderson, South Australia.
Well done, Lucas.
Great work, Lucas. Meaning, of course, in 4th place and scoring 3 yearly championship points is Ted from Mollymook. Great work, Ted.
Well done, Ted.
That's work, Ted. Just goes to show the value of getting a card in, doesn't it, Andy Walker?
It does. It does.
It does.
So get your card in, Pilgrims.
Yeah, that's right. You never know. Which takes us to 3rd place. In 3rd place with 36 Stableford points is Alex from New South Wales.
36. Well done, Alex.
Yeah, 3rd place, 36. Adds 5 points to his yearly championship tally. That's good work.
So where's Alex sitting now? He'd have to be right up there.
He's out of contention. It's fair to say. When I do the maths on this, there are 7 players who can still win the yearly championship. Alex is 9th.
Right. It's not. I was going to say, I thought he'd be top 10 at least.
Yeah, he's just outside.
Just snuck in there.
He's just outside. He's 5 points out of mathematically being able to win it. That's unfortunate, but, he's given it a good crack. Then in 3rd place, that was 3rd place. In 2nd place.
Second place.
In 2nd place, strap yourself in for this one, Andy Walker. 37 Stableford points. Donnie from Bathurst.
Donnie.
Dark Horse Donnie. Great work.
Well done, Donnie.
He's still in the running. He's now gone in front of me again, which is upsetting. Anyway, I'll deal with that.
So is that your nemesis
in
the yearly championship?
I guess it is. He doesn't know that, but I guess it is. I guess it is. And in 1st place with 39 Stableford points, cracking round of golf, 39 Stableford points, adding 10 points to his yearly championship tally, is James Armstrong from the Old Dart from England. So James,
he's back in form. He's hit his straps right at the final hurdle.
Yeah, that's right.
Good.
So
coming down the stretch,
because
he's strong.
He had a couple of little wobbly months there. Did not play in August and finished just outside the points in July. But the 10 points, interestingly, our competition leader, Big Kerrod from Dubbo, did not feature during the month, which was a little unfortunate for him.
So didn't actually put a card in?
Didn't get a card in. And
wow.
I don't know if you noticed, but on the Missing Links Golf Show podcast members Facebook group, did put a bit of a sob story up about it as well, which was exciting. The fact that he'd had a bit of illness at the front end of the month and then was somewhat hamstrung in the latter half of the month due to the shutdown of Golf Australia app, meaning that there were no competition rounds able to be played for the last 2 weekends of the month. Obviously, that impacted everyone, yourself included, which is why you didn't get a card. May not have been the only reason. Nevertheless.
Okay. Let's go with that.
Yeah. So Big K, unfortunately, didn't get a card in, which means, and this is where it gets really exciting, that the standings is leading the competition on 45 yearly championship points is Kerrod. Coming second is James Armstrong from the UK on 44 points. There's 1 point in it. It's the same difference between first and second as there is between Andy Walker and Mick Patterson. Just a lot more points involved. That's all.
The competition's heating up, I can tell you.
Yeah, so that means that there are a number of players who still can mathematically win, which includes Lucas Anderson from South Australia, not Western Australia, includes Donnie from Bathurst, includes me. I can still win this.
Yeah, right.
And includes Benny Walker and also Ted from Mollymook. So Benny Walker.
What about me? Can I win?
No, you can't win. Benny Walker, disclaimer, not related to Andy Walker or Ted from Mollymook, but is a Walker nonetheless. So there you have it. That's the wrap up of the yearly championship. That's exciting. Any thoughts, Andy Walker?
Well, 3/4 of the way through the year, we've got 3 months left. So get your card in, Pilgrims.
There's only one way to win it. That's be in it.
Unless, you don't have enough points at this stage and you can't win it.
Well, you should have been in it earlier, is probably the point.
I have been in it earlier. I've been in it all year. Just
that's the problem. Okay. So there's a bit more to it than just being in it. You've also got to be in it well.
That's true. Yeah.
No, fair. Definitely fair. All right. So I think this episode, Andy Walker, we were having a little bit of a chat earlier, might become known as Embracing the Grind.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it was.
Yeah, which is fine. That's all part of the game. We've both got stories to tell. We've both got recent rounds. Mine from the weekend, yours from today.
Yes, yeah. So got up this morning and had a bit of a crack this morning. It was actually a good day out. I really enjoyed it.
And then you played some golf after that, or?
Exactly. Well, I don't know if you'd call it golf, but I was on a golf course.
Actually,
swinging some clubs at a little white ball.
Actually, there is a bit of Voice of the Pilgrims that's worth sharing too. Sorry, let me get to that. I did mean to share this because I don't know if you saw this, but it's definitely worth a comment. And that was from friend of the show, Azim Kazmani. Don't know if you picked up on this one, but he says, listen to the latest episode yesterday. This was a couple of days ago, 2 days ago. He says, I wish I could score as well as Mr. Walker with an over-the-top swing.
Mm. There's a fair bit of practice that's gone into that over-the-top swing, though. And it's not the most reliable of swings, which is sort of why I have days like I did today. Spoiler alert, and why I can also have days like I did last week and a couple of good rounds I had last year. So it's unfortunately, though, it is inconsistent.
Yes. Well, you might be interested in the rest of Azim's message. He says, coincidentally, I signed up for Monty Scheinblum's efficient swing yesterday evening to work on my over-the-top movement. Now, if ever there was a golf coach, I think it's fair to say that Monty Scheinblum would be a name that I'd be searching out. Either that or old favourite and friend of Sandy Wedge's, what was his name? Manuel de la Torre. Golf Coach to the Stars. Check him out on YouTube. He's a good watch as well. But anyway, if you're interested, either Monty Scheinblum or Manuel de la Torre are two golf coaches, both friends of the show, and
of course.
and come highly recommended.
By the pilgrims themselves.
Yeah, user beware. Do your own research would be would be my advice. All right, shall we get into it? We might go in chronological order. What do you think, Andy Walker, and hit up with my round from Saturday?
Yeah, let's do that.
Which, to set the scene, was a 7:48 tee time, nice and early in the morning.
It's a good tee time. That was my tee time this morning.
Was it really?
It was.
That is incredibly random, but good work. And I'm glad we played early because, gee, it got hot. It certainly got into the mid to late 30s out here in the Golden West, which, with those playing along at home in the United States at least, is getting close to tapping on the door of 100 degrees. So on the Fahrenheit scale, so it's pretty warm. But we got out before the real heat of the day. I was excited to see one of my playing partners turn up in a nice pair of black slacks, which was a decision
that's great in 38 degrees.
It was a decision that he later came to regret. But anyhow, we were playing the monthly medal, so it was a stroke event, medal golf off the back, or as close as we could get to it, because Royal Dubbo is actually undergoing some renovations at the moment, and there's a few holes that have been tinkered with, and one or two tee boxes that have been moved around as well.
Did I see footage of the opening tee shot?
Yeah, you did. You did.
That was a bit tight, wasn't it?
Oh, wasn't it though? I reckon I was lucky to get the club to shoulder height on that one.
I was going to say, like, it's was almost parallel to the ground, like.
It was Tommy Fleetwood-esque with his pitching wedge.
It was. It was.
Yeah, that's an interesting story. I didn't realise, I know early in the morning I'd done no stretching. I'd done very little warming up other than jump in the cart and drive to the golf course, have a little swing in the net. But, yeah, far out it was short. But it was out of the screws, and according to ShotScope, it went 238 metres down the right side of the fairway.
Nice.
So
nice.
You know,
on a cool central west morning, that's not a bad opening tee shot.
Yeah, which I feel pretty happy about, being able to get one out that far when I'm playing with a not even 3/4 swing. Far out.
I actually thought maybe you were just going with a punch drive. Like
it looked like it. I don't know if you
put it back in your stance and just flight it under the wind. I mean,
yeah. I don't know if you looked at it too carefully, right? But Pilgrims, get on the Facebook.
I think I was laughing too much.
Get on the Facebook page and have a look at this golf swing. It's horrible. And the one thing that's worth looking at, not just the shortness of the backswing, Andy Walker, but have another look at it and just see how much bottom hand and bottom shoulder gets thrown into it at impact.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, just to try and generate a little bit of club head speed. Anyway, it worked. It got me away up the fairway, which was good. Par 5, OB up the right, but gave me an opportunity to then, probably with another half swing, bun a 5-wood up just short of the green, pitch on 2-putt par. So it was a pretty easy way to start, which was nice. Second hole was nothing to write home about. Found a bit of GUR because this is one of the ones that's being worked on off the tee. Got up nearby the green, chipped on 2-putt bogey, so we were +1 after 2. The third hole, though, Andy Walker, is one that we need to talk about. So the third hole, every now and then a drive can just go horribly, horribly wrong.
Yep, definitely.
Yeah, so that happened on this hole. So the third hole is a par 4. It's a longish straight par 4. And I don't do this very often anymore, but every now and then there's the massive big high block cover drive, which came out, and it went high. It went over the trees, and on the other side of the trees there's the 11th tee coming back the other way, and then just beyond that is the 16th green. And it landed kind of between the two, stone dead and a long way from home. So there was a little gap over the top of the trees to maybe get an 8-iron back over the trees towards the fairway, but it was a very, very big ask. It probably needed about a 6-iron, but you couldn't do that because you needed to get the ball up relatively quickly. What made it more exciting is that a couple of the Pilgrims were actually on the 11th tee box playing in the other direction.
Yeah, right. Yeah, nice.
And the peanut gallery was in full force.
Love it.
So I hit the 8-iron. I got it up over, but it didn't have enough distance to get back to the fairway. So still in the trees and faced with the conundrum of there was a high gap that you could maybe get a sand wedge over the trees towards the green, or you'd have to pitch out directly sideways.
Yep.
And you'd still be 80, 90 metres out from the green. So which option do you think I chose, Andy Walker?
Yeah, I mean, knowing you've probably just gone for it. Is that?
You'd be correct.
I mean, pitching out, I don't think is part of your repertoire.
Oh, look, it is when necessary. But this is one of those ones like I did get it over the trees and it was just short of the green. So it wasn't actually a bad result. Better than what it would have been if I went sideways because I was about another 60 metres closer. But pitched on and unfortunately missed the putt, tapped in for a double, which hurts. So anyway, what were we? We were +3 after 3. So we go to 4 long par 4, dogleg to the right. Cut a long story short, out of position off the tee a little bit to the left and made bogey. So we moved to +4 after 4. It's not the start I was hoping for, to be fair.
No. But I mean, it's not round over. I mean, you're playing monthly medal, off the back tees, championship pins. I mean, it's not a great start, but it's recoverable.
There's probably 2 things worth mentioning at this point. One is that the greens were very slow, and at this point, every putt had come up short.
Yep.
I just could not convince myself to hit it hard enough to get it to the hole.
Yep.
The other thing was the mental game was actually in pretty good shape at this point, and all those things you just said I was talking about, about just, 4 over. I could par in from here and shoot a 4 over round, which would be an outstanding day. The day's not done, just one shot at a time, all those good things. So we step up onto 5. 5's a par 3. It was playing at about 140 metres. So what's that, about 155 yards, roughly? Hit 7-iron pin high, and I reckon I was about 15 to 18 feet away, relatively straight, but the pin was cut on the right-hand side, which is where the green drops away. And if you go past the hole with the putt, you're gone, like you're off the green. So I was standing over the putt thinking, if I hit it past the hole, I'm probably chipping for my next. And then I was thinking, every putt you've hit so far, you've left short. So try and get it to the hole.
So give it a wrap.
You got to give it a bit more than you think. So anyway, I hit it beautifully on line, and I've absolutely smashed it, which was good because it got it to the hole, and it hit the back of the cup, went about a foot up in the air, and dropped in the hole.
Nice.
The bird. And I can tell you right now that if it didn't hit the hole,
it was off the green.
It was gone. But anyway, we're back to +3 after 5. And then it pains me to say I bought a ticket and hopped aboard the bogey train to see out the 9 at +7.
Yep.
Which, look, it's one of those things, not amazing. I was playing off 10 for the day because of the slope rating and, the calculations of the World Handicapping System. So I thought, well, that's not the end of the world. I was up at +7. 3 shots to play with on the second 9. It's achievable. My playing partner playing off 18 in the black trousers was also off +7 after the first 9. So that was something to fight for and not get done by the B grader.
Yep.
in the baggy black pants on the second nine, which I raised that because we'll come back to that at the end of the day.
Of course you
did. So anyway, we move on to 10. 10 was a bogey. 11 was a par, which was good. 11's par 3, about 100 and playing about 160 metres, flushed a 6 iron, bounced about 2 feet to the left of the hole, just ran out to about probably 10 to 12 feet. Surprised you to hear that I left the putt short and then tapped in for par.
So have the greens just been renovated?
The greens have been
recently?
renovated. Yeah. Last week they were super slow. They had cut them. They looked like they would be pretty good, but they were still very, very slow. Add to that, because we're playing in the morning, there was a bit of dew on the grass, so that didn't really help. They sped up a little bit on the second nine, but, still slow. So we moved to 12. 12's the par 5 along the water. Hit a good drive, good 6 iron to the corner. And, on medal day, that pin position that's on the knob right on the back left that is impossible to get at.
Yeah.
Okay. So I hit a wedge and I stopped it up on that knob on the back left.
Yeah.
The only problem with it is the pin wasn't
there. Excellent.
So the pin was at the base of that slope, as and pilgrims, if you can imagine this, there's the back left of the green. It's like a little peninsula, which is high. Yeah. It's elevated.
Like a postage stamp.
It's like a turtleback, really, right? And it's tiny, and then it drops down to the rest of the green. But the other 3 sides, it also drops significantly down off into the fringe. Yeah. And the pin was cut kind of at the bottom of that drop off, but on the right-hand side as from where I was putting. So I'm putting towards the level difference where it will drop down off the ledge, and you can see on that it will drop down and it will kick it left. But the problem is if you go a little bit too far right, it'll actually roll off the green and funnel off in that direction. So I took what I thought was a conservative line to not try and make the putt, but just to lag it to the top of that hill, and it would dribble down and hopefully finish about 5 or 6 feet to the left of the hole. What I didn't really see coming was the speed of the green kind of held the ball up a lot more than I thought. It didn't quite make the ledge to go down, but it did make the drop off on the right hand side to roll off the green.
Wow.
So I'm on for regulation and I've putted off
the green.
And I'm now probably 4 or 5 feet below the green level, short-sighted.
Excellent.
No, it wasn't excellent.
How was the mental attitude after that?
Oh, look, okay. I just kind of went, all right, well, that was disappointing. Let's focus on the next shot. So I hit a putt up and it bobbled through the fringe, kind of did some amazing things and finished about 8 feet from the hole. So I had an 8-footer to save bogey after hitting the green in regulation. Can you believe it?
Excellent.
Staring down the barrel of a 4-putt double. But Andy Walker, you'll be happy to know I made the putt and walked off with a fighting bogey.
Yeah. But, I mean, you putted, from off the green, so technically, that's not a putt.
Yeah, it is.
I'm trying to see the positives.
It is a putt, though. In the stats, it still counts as a putt, but far out. That was an adventure. So then we played 13. 13 is a long par 4, but shortened because of some renovation works that's going on. So they moved the tee up by about probably 80 metres. So it now becomes a drivable par 4.
Yep.
And this was exciting. I blocked a drive a little bit left towards the left trees and got the bounce of your life that came back and actually sat just in front of the green.
Nice.
So that was good. Chipped on, should have made a birdie putt, but unfortunately it just kind of rolled past the right edge and tapped in for par. But that was kind of a bit of the one that got away, to be fair. 14, I made a fighting par at. You'll enjoy this one because I hit a good drive up the middle. It was a 6-iron into the green and hit it so fat that it went about, what did it go? It was a 6-iron, went 90 metres. It was so fat.
Excellent.
So I was about, well, according to ShotScope, I was 53 metres to the flag, pulled out a sand wedge and hit it to 2 inches. Andy Walker and tapped in for par. So
easy, tapping par.
That was one of those holes that you go, yeah, walk away with par. How'd you make par? Let's not focus on the details.
Yeah, they don't draw pictures on the scorecard.
Yeah, we just made
There's a good reason for that too.
That's right. I made a bogey at 15, which 15 was playing tough. It's par 3 playing up the hill into the wind at about 185 metres. Pretty much forced carry over water the whole way. Tough hole. So I think 4, I was pretty happy with that. Played 16. 16's par 5 rated the easiest hole on the course, and I cannot for the life of me agree with this course rating. But anyway, there you go. I had a look at birdie and made par. And that would have been really handy to make a birdie there, because that I was currently, 3 over for the 9. So I was sitting at 10 over. I was sitting on handicap.
Yep.
To get one back there would have been really, really handy. It was about an 8-footer, just a bit of a right to left 8-footer, and just didn't read enough break, unfortunately. Or in fairness, probably did read enough break and probably pushed it a little bit, I think, if I'm being completely honest. 17, tough par 4. You might remember 17 is a long par 4.
Yep.
Hit a really solid drive, but pulled it a little bit right. But was fortunate to get through those trees and get a clear shot to the green. Just had to draw.
That's sort of down near
towards the groundsman's
practice
shed.
Area.
Yeah, sort of past
greenkeeper shed.
Past the practice range towards the greenkeeper shed. So I'd got through that tree line. Had a look at the left edge of the green, but the centre of the green was blocked out by those 2 enormous poplar trees. So I either had to play for the left side or try and draw it around the poplars. I reckon I've hit the best iron shot I hit all day on this one. I hit a 5-iron flush and drew it around the poplars to the centre of the green for a relatively easy 2-putt. In fact, the birdie putt very nearly dropped, even though it really didn't have much right to, from about 20 feet. So that was a tap-in par, which was awesome. Which took me then to 18, currently sitting level with my handicap with 1 hole to play. It is my nemesis hole, let's be honest, the 18th at Dubbo. I have been known to double this over the years, as you know only too well from previous Macquarie Cups.
Yep.
Again, playing long and a bit into the breeze. So hit 5 wood and dragged it a bit right and a little bit long, but right's usually not too bad on this hole because the green slopes back to that side. So kind of chipping at the bank. But seriously, I was behind the only tree and too close to it to go over it. So had to go under it, through the rough, kind of try and bump and run one through the Kikuyu rough, which is never nice.
No.
So anyway, I managed to get a 7-iron under the tree, bumped it through the rough onto the green, and 2-putted, unfortunately, for bogey to finish with an 82, 11 over. So 35 points Stableford-wise for next month, or this month, not last month. And I think Andy Walker, if I can be completely honest, it was like one of those days where I felt like I'd played pretty good golf. I didn't putt badly, but I didn't make anything.
Yep.
And finished with 36 putts for the round, which you kind of go...
It's just regulation then, isn't it?
Well, it's interesting because we talk about that. And it would be regulation if I hit every green in regulation, which obviously I didn't. So the 11 shots were all general play shots. But, I feel like with that ball striking, that 82 could have been 76 without too much trouble.
Yeah.
With 30, 31 putts, you're in the mid-70s.
Yep.
So it was a little bit disappointing, and it was a little bit pleasing though to still be able to grind that through and stay in every shot. And certainly after a 7 over front 9 to only have a 4 over back 9, that was definitely a good thing. Mentally, I think the round was good, but when I break it down for the stats, strokes gained goes like this against scratch handicap benchmark. Tee shots was minus 2.6, which is worse than where I've been lately.
Yeah.
Because we know that that's generally been at or above scratch. But even so, minus 2.6, like, that's not too bad. It kind of felt worse than that because I feel like just on 3 alone, that cost me 2 shots, that tee shot.
Yep.
Even though the stats probably wouldn't say that, but it did. Approaches was plus 0.91. Now, you'll know from previous rounds, my approaches, I've usually been losing about 4 or 5 shots to a scratch handicap player.
Yep.
So that's a really good result. And that, when you couple it with short game, was minus 0.88, which again, I've been losing sort of 2-3 shots on short game. I've done a lot of work in this area, and the biggest thing that I've changed actually is getting the weight distribution a little bit further forward.
Yep.
And far out, that's helped contact with irons so much. It's made a massive difference. So I feel like I'm on the right path there. The big one, though, was putting, which was minus 4.65.
Okay. Yeah. That's not great.
And that's been up and down. You know, that's been positive sometimes. It's been like this sometimes. This one I didn't feel like it was bad, though. It was just I just didn't get the pace of the greens. I was leaving everything short for the first 9 in particular. So, you know, I don't know.
So how did you feel, though, when you were putting? Did you feel as though your stroke was okay, or did you?
Yeah, I did.
Did you feel like you had a snake in your hand, or
No.
What was the general feel?
No, I felt good. I just couldn't get the speed.
Yeah.
I think I probably missed one putt that I really should have made. And I'm trying to remember exactly which hole that was on. That was on 7 on the par 5 where I made a 3-putt bogey after.
Yeah.
To be honest, though, I lost the shot with a poor pitch, not necessarily the putting. But I had a bit of I would have been about a 4-footer that was, you know, sort of across that hill, but it was moving left to right, downhill, right to left. So it was a bit of a slider, and I actually, I just didn't hit it hard enough because I was a little bit tentative, so I didn't hold its line, and it just missed on the low side. But I should have made that one. I could have probably made another 4 on any given day, but I didn't. So I didn't really make anything that I wouldn't ordinarily have expected to, except the birdie putt on 5, which was a bit fortunate, but nothing else. Nothing else went in. Whereas on other days,
I think
4 or 5 days ago,
another contributing factor as well is the fact that if the greens were slow because they've been renovated in the past few weeks, that can sort of throw your feel off as well. I mean, you know, it needs to happen, but during that sort of transition period between the renovations and getting the greens back to being in good nick, you know, sometimes the greens can just be a bit inconsistent. So, and, you know, there might still be some of the core marks that are there that, the ball doesn't quite roll as true as what it otherwise would have. Of course, I mean, the greens out of Dubbo are normally pretty good. I mean, they normally have that. That's usually the best part of the course.
Oh, it is. And I think, like, one of the things is that it was a bit of an eye-opener of how much I have become used to, you know, true and fast greens, because that's what I play on a lot. And what's a little bit of a concern, because you want to be able to have your game travel effectively, right, and go to other courses and be able to play other courses. And one of the things that you need to be able to do that well is to adapt to the green conditions. You know, like, and after 1 or 2 greens, when you're seeing how they're rolling, being able to recalibrate. I literally just couldn't do that. I couldn't bring myself to hit the ball hard enough for what it needed to be. And so many times, you know, like, it would still finish, you know, 6 inches short, 12 inches short, or for longer lag putts, you know, I'd be leaving myself, say, a 5 or 6 footer to make par, rather than, you know, sort of tapping in a 1 or 2 footer. That was really the difference. But other than that, to be honest, I was pretty happy with it, because I didn't have my best tee-ball game, and I've relied on that a lot lately. And so to not, like, to have to grind that out a little bit and, you know, kind of find something off the tee, and then even just play some better recovery shots and make it up, you know, with irons and wedges. I was really happy to see the improvement in that area. So that there's positives. There's definitely positives.
Yeah.
I really like the fact that I didn't get cranky and frustrated and, you know, throw the towel in. That can happen when putts aren't dropping, and you're making bogeys where you feel like you should make pars.
But also the other thing as well is that you've just come through. Well, if there is an off season in Australia, so we've just come through winter.
True. Yeah,
you haven't done a lot of practice, and we know with daylight savings here now, you'll be able to get out and just do those, maybe a couple of sessions a week of short game and putting, and that's going to sharpen up those areas as well. So I don't think there's too much to be concerned about. I think it's just a matter of you're a bit inconsistent at the moment because you haven't actually played that consistently through the off season, but now that you've got the opportunity to get out there a bit more often and after work and the like, then that'll change. And you've got sort of 6 months now of daylight saving to be able to get some consistency and improve your scoring in those areas that probably need a bit of work.
There's no doubting that. And I mean, you can use the high performance center as much as you want. It's not the same as getting out on the course.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, the high performance centers, and especially putting, it's maintenance more than improvement.
Yeah. So anyway, that was my Saturday, Andy Walker. Tell me about your day today.
Look, it's sort of similar in a lot of ways in that it was a grind. And after a couple of weeks ago, when I had my first comp round back, and I actually hit the ball really, really good a couple of weeks ago, and I sort of expected that to continue because I've been doing a little bit of work on my swing just to get the over the top.
It's an interesting word, expectation.
Yes, and it's. I guess my fault for having that expectation because a couple of weeks ago, I think I said before I went out, I didn't have any expectation.
Yeah.
I just went out there to see where things were at and I actually played really well. Whereas today I actually went out with an expectation.
Now, Pilgrims, sorry, Andy Walker, Pilgrims. Story time here. You need to learn from this because expectations are not good.
No. Well, I mean, yes and no. You've got to have a level of expectation, but it's you've also got to have a level of acceptance as well. So anyway,
we're high on expectation.
Well, I don't know about high on expectation, but I certainly felt as though I wasn't. I was in a relatively good place.
Okay.
And I don't know. I can't put my finger on it, to be honest with you. My swing just felt off. I didn't have a lot of timing, and it started from the first tee, in that I hit just my 3 utility off the tee. It got probably the bottom groove. May have even been lower than the bottom groove.
How good's that feeling on the first?
And just sort of went sort of low and left up the left rough, and then because I par 5 I couldn't go for the green. I just wanted to hit a 6-iron up into a pretty good position to have a 60-70 meter pitch, and again I just hit my 6-iron straight left into the hazard, and I'm standing there going, where did that come from?
How?
Like it didn't actually hook even. Like because how like my bad shots, the snap hook.
Yeah.
It just went straight left and stayed.
Just an over the top smother?
Yeah, it was sort of like that. Sort of like that. Well, I mean, I had a bit of a hanging lie. The ball was slightly above my feet, but I didn't think it was a really bad lie, and like it was only a 6-iron. I certainly didn't expect that result. So anyway, I took a drop, hit it on the green, couple of putts off to a pretty disappointing bogey, I have to admit. Whereas one, even though I don't make birdie on it very often, it's still sort of a relatively good chance at making birdie. So anyway, I thought, all right, well that's fine. Sometimes I get off to a bit of a scratchy start and I can grind my way back. So I had a reasonable par at 2. I actually my birdie putt ended up about maybe an inch short of the hole, dead in the middle. And sort of similar to Dubbo, the greens have been renovated probably 3 or 4 weeks ago. So we're actually, Corinda had the club championships on, which I didn't play in, but then they had the Champos on over the weekend. So and the greens still, they're not at their best, which I was a little bit surprised about, given that, we're in sort of championship season and got the first 2 rounds last weekend and the next 2 rounds this weekend. And we've had a bit of hot weather and not a lot of rain. So,
but on that point, though,
mitigating factors.
It amazes me how often this happens when you go to courses. And, obviously renovations are done quite often prior to tournaments, and whether it's club championships or other events, like take Macquarie Cup, for example, which is at Easter time, the other time when the renovations get done at the back end of summer. It amazes me how often it is done not early enough to recover before big events get played. You just see it time and time again. I don't know if there's any course superintendents out there listening to this. Like, it takes longer than you think for the greens to come back fully to where they need to be, and they're usually at the best about 2 weeks after a major event.
Yeah, and it's, of course, what the other thing that I see is that because they renovated the greens when we were in Malaysia, so we're talking about a month or so ago now. So it was a month before the first round of the Champos, and to me that doesn't give that, like, there's no fat there. There's no give. Like, you're cutting it really fine just in case something doesn't go according to schedule, which, given the hot weather and dry weather, something didn't go according to schedule. So they had to leave the greens a little bit sort of long and still recovering from the renovation. So for me, either, and I'm not a greenkeeper, I'm not, certainly not an expert in any way, shape or form in that field, but for me, if you're going to have the Champos in sort of mid to late October, you need to have the green renovation a bit earlier, or push the Champos back if you need to. But the golf management and the greens management need to get their heads together and figure that out.
That's probably the issue. To be honest,
there's no clash, and there's a little bit more. A little bit more leeway in case something doesn't quite go according to the schedule.
Yeah, I reckon you've hit the nail on the head there with the two parts of the business talking to each other. But anyway, we're not here as a business consultancy podcast.
I was going to say, so it's surprising that two departments of a business don't talk to each other.
I know, right?
So anyway, look, I made par at 2, 3. I pulled my tee shot and I was a little bit blocked out, but had a reasonably good second on the front of the green. It was a long way to the to the pin, and I 3-jagged it for bogey. Solid par at 4. Made a really good birdie at 5. Hit a really good tee shot and hit a 5-iron that just covered par 5. Covered the flag. Probably ended up about 12 feet from the hole, so a 12-foot eagle putt, and I hit my eagle putt exactly where I wanted to hit it, just didn't break. So that was a little bit disappointing, but it was a tap-in birdie, like literally a 3 or 4 inch tap-in birdie. The guys that I played with sort of said, "Oh, you wouldn't mind a tap-in birdie every hole?" I'm just like, not gonna take that back.
No.
And then it just started the bogeys, the scrappiness. I thought maybe I could grind through it, but I made a pretty ordinary bogey at 6, made a pretty ordinary bogey at 7. I made a good par at 8. I played 8 fairly well, the par 5, which, as we discussed last week, I normally hit my 3 utility off the tee. And actually, because it's been a bit dry, it ran a fair way, and I only had 206 meters to the flag, but there's just no room for error on that green. You've got the hazard short. It's a really it doesn't have a lot of depth in the green. It's a really shallow green, and there's a bunker long that if you get in the bunker, it's it's dead.
You're probably in the hazard for your next one.
Yeah, exactly. So for me, I just hit a really good 7-iron up to 64 meters to the flag. Hit a really good pitch that landed on the green and just spun back to the front of the green, and an easy 2-putt. Then on 9, I was on the green in regulation and 3-putted. So
that's two in the front 9. Two 3-putt bogeys in the front 9.
Well, it's actually 3. Well, technically it was 2, but on the 6th hole, I was just off the side of the green and I 3-putted. So, technically 2, but in reality,
This is off the back of
with my
4
3-putts last week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's rust, honestly.
Yeah, it is. And that's what it was. It's what it is not being in that competition grind.
Yeah.
And as much as I wanted to be in the grind, sometimes you just can't get yourself into the grind.
It's also a muscle. Like we've talked about this so many times and that's why it's important when it's not going your way to grind as hard as you can, because you're training that muscle. And, the fact that you haven't had the opportunity to be out there doing it for the last 6 months obviously makes it harder.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's also that, again, the consistency of speed on the greens. I did have a few longer putts on the front 9, and I was leaving a lot of them short. There were a couple that I got the speed right, but then on 9, I just smashed it about 6 feet past the hole.
Yeah.
And, I walked off 9 going, I don't feel as though I did a lot wrong as such. I mean, there wasn't these big roping hooks that, and some of the really bad golf that I've played at different stages. But, I walked off 4 over going, it was hard to put my finger on it, but it was the grind. It was just not having a lot of timing, not really having a lot of feel on the greens. But I thought, I'm 4 over. It's not the end of the world. It's not like I was 6, 7, 8 over like I have been on different occasions. So I thought, all right, well, let's just get back in and just see where the back 9 goes. So I made a bit of a scrappy par on 10, on 11. Which is a par 4 with water all the way down the right-hand side. I've hit my 3 utility down the right, and it got the worst kick ever and kicked into the hazard. And I just went, really? And because it was like the fairways were quite firm, and as soon as I got the kick and I saw the kick, I went, that's in the hazard. And my playing partner was like, oh, no, I should be right. Should have pulled up. But we got down there, and as soon as we got down there, I knew it was in the hazard. So I took a drop, hit a pretty ordinary 9-iron onto, it was the back part of the green, just onto the fringe, and then 3-putted.
Oh, again.
Yeah.
Wow. So what's that? Is that
so
double?
That was a double.
Yeah.
So I walked off 11 even more frustrated than what I had been on 9. Because again, just trying to get back into the grind of it, and I felt like it wasn't far away, but I just couldn't. I couldn't grab it.
I think we all know that feeling.
It was
Pilgrims. If you're listening right now, put your hand up. If you're driving, if you're on public transport, even better. Just put your hand right up in the air if you know that feeling.
Yeah, yeah, and it's not like, I mean, you go out there some rounds and you just. It's so bad that you just don't know what, you've got no idea or understanding of what you're doing. It didn't feel that good, but I didn't feel that bad that I felt as though I couldn't bring it back. I always had the feeling that, okay, I'm not far away.
Yeah.
I just can't quite grab a hold of it. And whether that's, a lack of competition practice or whatever, I'm not quite sure, but it was just, you felt like, reaching out, and you could reach it, but you couldn't quite reach it.
I don't know. I mean, yeah, it probably is. It probably is rustiness, to be perfectly honest, because you haven't played that much, and there's just little calibrations in your swing that are a little bit out. But also, it's one of those things, I think, that when it feels like that, and when it's just slightly off, and you're like, oh, like it's nearly there. I know I'm not far away. I guess there's also the tendency to then try and control it a little bit more to get to bring it back. And as we know, like that favourite quote with Josh Nichols, that you gain control by giving away control.
Yeah.
And maybe just that you try too hard a little bit in those situations, and and you need to just sort of take the foot off the gas a little bit and just let it happen and relax a bit. I don't know, but there might be something in that.
Yeah, potentially.
Yeah.
But look, I made a solid par at 12. On 13, I've hit and 13 is my nemesis hole with the water all the way down the left-hand side, so I never hit driver off that. We were playing off the really front tee, so we hit a 4-iron, was okay down the sort of left center of the fairway. I had 154 meters to the flag, and I probably hit my worst shot of the day, which was short left and never looked like going anywhere else but in the water. And again, it's sort of similar to my second shot on the first, whereas it wasn't a hook. It just started left and stayed there. And yeah, I just looked at it and just went, really? Like, that's just, yeah, I don't know. I didn't have any words at this stage. Probably so I took a drop, probably about 45 meters to the flag, and I've followed up by probably my best shot of the day, whereas I hit a really good, solid pitch that landed once and just stopped right next to the flag, about 30 centimeters from the flag, and tapped in for bogey. So I guess the good thing is that I've followed probably my worst shot of the day with my best shot of the day. So, that was a positive.
That is. And then on good reminder, Pilgrims, that golf is a series of independent events, not a string of connected moments.
Yep, absolutely. So on 14, fairly short par 4, I hit my 3 utility off the tee. I had 88 meters to the flag, and this is the green, sort of bit of a kidney-shaped green where you've got a bunker sort of in the middle of the kidney shape, and the pin was just over the bunker, tucked around the side of the bunker again, which sort of championship position on a Tuesday members comp. So I didn't aim at the flag, and this is one of those shots that I've been doing a fair bit of work on in the high performance center, just getting my distances. So I had a fairly good idea of how hard I needed to hit it. And I pulled out my 54 degree, slightly downwind, and my distance, 88 meters, but I wanted to hit it 80 meters. And I hit it exactly as I wanted to, exactly on the line that I wanted to. And it landed on the back part of the green and just kicked over the green. And that is dead.
Yep.
Yeah, there's nothing good over the back of the green. Short-sided, really big slope down to the 15th tee, and pin was on the back, slightly sloping from back to front. So I had nothing. Like there's not even a fringe that I can land it on. It's just it's rough pretty much all the way to the fringe. So really didn't have anything. I hit a pitch that landed on the green, but then rolled over the green to maybe 10 feet, sort of over the other side of the green, not quite in the bunker, but wasn't too far from the bunker. And then I hit a little sort of chip pitch back to about sort of 3 or 4 inches and tapped in for bogey. So
that's good.
Again, I didn't feel as though I did a lot wrong. But it might just be that lack of competition practice.
Yeah. I mean, that's exactly what it sounds like. It just sounds like rust. Your calibration's a little bit out and all those things.
So I made a fairly solid par at 15. 16, hit a great drive down 16. My best drive of the day. It was 258 meters, so
nice.
Decent.
So how long do you think your backswing was on that?
Longer than yours on the first, I can tell you. Yeah, by this stage on 16, I was relatively well warmed up. And I had a pitch of 67 meters, which again hit a really, really good pitch into about 1.5 meters. And then I missed the putt.
Oh, man.
So, and as I was walking into the green, and maybe this is, one of those things that, and not that I think this impacted my putt, because I actually didn't hit a bad putt. It was a misread. It was a complete misread. I hit the putt exactly where I wanted to hit it. But as I was walking up to the green, I was sort of doing a few numbers in my head. And at that stage, I was 8 over. And I thought, if I birdie this, if I make that and get it back to 7, I can still possibly break 80, which, considering how badly I felt I'd scored, wasn't going to be a bad result. And then I stood up and missed the putt. Yeah. So 17, again, short par 3 with water pretty much all around it except for the left-hand side. Hit a reasonable shot in there to around about 12 feet. And again, just a misread. I hit the putt exactly where I wanted to, exactly the speed I wanted to, just stayed, didn't take the break and stayed on its line. Then stood up on 18, and 18 is a par 4, sort of dog legs around the water all the way down the left-hand side, and just pulled a full fairway into the hazard.
Oh, man.
And
so did you have to re-tee, or was there a place to drop?
No, I was able to sort of go down and drop sort of near one of the hazard pegs, but I let out a fairly loud expletive.
Which one?
At that point in time.
Did you yell out golf?
Yes, that's
exactly. Golf!
That's exactly what I said. So anyway, got down there. I was around about 210 to the flag, and I took a drop, and the ball, as it usually does when you take a drop in the rough, ended up in a really sort of scungy, sort of sitting down lie. But I still wanted to hit my full fairway to try and get it out there. Hit an okay shot to the right hand side of the green, pitched up to probably about 15 feet, and then hold the putt for bogey. So finished with a up and down bogey after hitting it in the hazard for a 81, 9 over. Or was that 29 points? Because they had me playing off 2 today. So yeah, it was just one of those rounds that I as I said, I felt good a couple of weeks ago, but it was just, I just couldn't quite get my hands around the good swing again. And I mean, effectively 4 3 putts again. I mean, yeah, 2 of the 3 putts were from off the green. So technically they're not 3 putts, but to me,
feels like
they were still 3 putts. Hit it in the hazard 4 times on 1, 11, 13 and 18. Just, yeah, was one of those days that, I felt like I played a reasonable hole, then I'd play a poor hole, play a reasonable hole, then have a poor hole. And I couldn't get off it. I couldn't get that off that alternate bogey train.
Yep. The alternate stations.
So going through my stats, driving was, and this is compared to a scratch handicapper, minus 1.7. With driving, approach play was minus 3.8, and that was probably about right. I didn't feel as though my irons were particularly good today. They were probably the worst part of my game. Short game was minus 0.1, and that was probably a highlight, especially my pitching. As I said, I've been doing a bit of work with my pitching and distance control from that sort of 40 to 100 meters. Been doing a fair bit of work with the square launch monitor, which we'll cover in the next maybe next episode, because that's number 100, maybe the one after that.
Yep.
Putting was minus 2.9, which again sort of felt as though that was about where it was. I mean, I had 34 putts for the round, so not far from your regulation 36.
It's crazy.
Only hit 10 out of 18 greens in reg. whereas sort of last week was 13, or the week before was 13.
Still, 10's not bad by any stretch.
Yeah, and given how badly I felt as though I hit it, and that's one of those sort of those things that it sort of every second hole, I played reasonably well, and then a couple of 3-putts thrown in there. So, you know, you end up with, I ended up with 10 greens in regulation. So you sit back and you go, yeah, you know, that's not too bad, but I was a long way from the flag with a lot of the greens in reg. I mean, I had a lot of, you know, 30 to 40 plus foot first putts.
Yeah.
Not that I'm making an excuse for 3 putts, but yeah, I just, I don't know. It's just one of those days, and I don't think I'm going to read too much into it. I haven't had a chance to fully digest it yet, but for me, I'm just going to sort of, you know, just bring it back to the fact that, okay, well, you know, I haven't played a lot this year, and I'm just sort of finding my feet again, and I've got to get those. I talked a lot last year about, you know, putting some reps in, and I think that's what I just need to do.
Oh, it is. I also do want to put a little bit of perspective on this, and you know, we're calling this episode "Embrace the Grind" for obvious reasons, and so we were embracing these results and not running away from them. But a couple of things that's worth mentioning, and you know, you shot an 81, okay, and I know you want to shoot better than that. Obviously, you're playing off, you know, 2/3. 81 is still pretty good golf at the end of the day. You know, like it's not. There's plenty of people.
Yeah, I mean, it's not
plenty
ugly.
of people that are out there, and you know, probably even that are listening to this podcast that are going, I'd love to be able to shoot an 81. You know, like I'm battling around trying to break 90 or something along those lines. And I know you're not comparing yourself to those types of players. Okay, I can see that in your face already.
and I know how it sounds. I mean, you know, I shot 81 on a bad day. Like it's not bad. Like it's not bad golf.
It's not bad golf.
I understand that, which is why I'm not, you know, super disappointed in it. Like it's still, I understand that it was still a good day. I would rather have gone out and shot 81 than been at work. Like it's not, you know, it was good company. You know, we had a really good day out. It was a lovely day. It was, you know, clear sky and, you know, nice and warm. So, you know, nothing wrong with the day at all. But yeah, I mean, obviously, we're here for self-improvement and to try and be the best that we can be. So
that's right. But there's also times just to kind of keep things in perspective a little bit too. It's not bad golf. Like, and because I also looked at, you know, like my round, I shot an 82, and I felt like when I walked off, and the interesting thing, and this has happened a few times lately as well, which is a good sign, because I walked off with an 82, and I actually walked off kind of a bit gutted and a bit feeling like I'd left quite a few out there. But if I went back a couple of years ago, I'd be stoked with an 82. You know, I'd be really, really happy with that, and that'd be probably one of my best rounds. Whereas now it feels like it's not an amazing day, and that's a good sign. But the other thing which is interesting, so it actually ended up being a flag round as well. It slipped into my top 8, which dropped me from 9.2 to 9.1. Woohoo. But what was interesting on that, I don't know if you've done this, but with the new Golf Australia website, when you go on, not on the app on your phone, but when you actually go on the website and you check your handicap, and it gives you your handicap index, but then it also gives you 3 boxes, and it says what percentage of your club that places you in, what percentage of New South Wales it places you in, and what percentage of Australia it places you in handicap. They're all pretty similar, as you'd expect. And at 9.1, it said top 8% of Dubbo Golf Club, top 10% of New South Wales handicaps, and top 9% of Australian handicaps.
Nice.
I wouldn't have thought so, but that's what it says. So you got to keep that in mind, that the scores that you're shooting, it's still, like even an 81, that's still top 10% golf.
Yeah. And look, I'm fully aware of that. Just on that note of handicap, which is sort of one of the things I was also going to bring up, because I dropped off. Mine wasn't a flag round, but because I dropped off my 0.8 gross differential from the 9th of April last year, 2024, when I had 41 points playing off 5. I had even par.
This is going to hurt.
My handicap has gone from 2.1 to 2.6.
Yeah.
Half a shot.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. However, even more, not concerning, but something that's going to, it'll be interesting to see where it goes, is my next round that's dropping off is my 2 under round from the 30th of April last year, which is a plus 1.6 gross differential when I had 42 points playing off 4. So, yeah, my handicap may go northwards a little bit over the coming weeks, depending on how I play. Because I've then got another flag round after that, a 2.8, which was the Camden Seniors. So, yeah, may end up back around the 4 mark before I know what's going on.
Sword of Damocles is hanging above your head once again.
Yeah.
Look, it happens.
So potentially a dark horse for the yearly championship.
If that's how you want to win it, sure. Not gonna happen. Actually, you mathematically can't. Look, that's that.
But I've got Mick Patterson in my sights, though.
You got him in your sights. Yeah, come on, Mick. Anyway, that's a bit funny. There is one other little random story that I wanted to share with you, Andy Walker. I haven't told you this yet. On Monday, we had a little bit of a unplanned family long weekend due to just due to a few things that needed to happen. So, girls went off and did their thing, and myself and young Mr. Hinks, whom everyone would know as the world's best 12-year-old caddy, we actually went out and played his first ever 9 holes off.
Oh yeah, nice.
Off the yellow markers around holes 19 to 27 at Royal Dubbo. Which was an awesome amount of fun. It was so good to do. It was a very, very cool experience to take him around and do that. And there was one particular moment that I think that you might find amusing. So we were working on alignment, because it's a bit of a thing at the beginning of actually figuring out where you want to hit the ball and lining up with a target for where you want to hit the ball. So we'd been working on that. And then there was one point where he flushed the best drive that he'd hit all day, but his alignment was a bit off, so it actually hit one of the trees on the left. Bounced out, that was fine. But obviously he was feeling the feels that all of us as golfers understand. And he turned around and he went, "Oh, Dad, why is it that the best shots I hit have to hit a tree?" And I said, "Mate, because that's golf."
Yep.
And then he looked at me and he goes, "What do you mean? That doesn't make any sense. Why do they call it golf?" And I looked at him and I said, "Because every other 4-letter word is taken."
Yep.
I felt like my life had been building up to that particular moment. It was
Excellent.
It was a lot of fun. And he just looked confused and then went and found his ball and hit it anyway. But it was a lot of fun. So let that be the first of many, is all I can say. And
now, was that in a cart? Did you take
yes, we took
the cart out to
yeah. Because it was about 700 degrees as well, so that was going to be a struggle.
Yeah, because I've taken my young bloke out a couple of times, and we first of all started playing in a cart, and only sort of a few holes, and he just used to just grab a club and go and whack it, and wasn't really playing golf as such. He wasn't really holing out. He was just sort of going and doing his own thing. But then there was a couple of times when we first moved up the coast and at Cooinda where we actually walked. But because he didn't have a great deal of understanding of pace and etiquette, I had to keep trying to go, come on, mate. You got to hurry up. And I think that put him off a little bit, and we haven't sort of gone out since. But where I'm going with that is and it's interesting that you bring this up, because on the way to golf this morning, I was listening to one of the Golf Beneath the Surface episodes,
Yeah.
And Dr. Raymond Pryor was talking about the best way to let young kids come into golf or any sport at that age is just to let them have unstructured play and not be too rules based.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about it going, yeah, you know what, we had, and this was sort of when we were in Sydney and I was at Stonecutters Ridge. We went out occasionally on a Saturday afternoon in a cart, and we had so much fun when, in the cart, and, I let him sort of drive the cart down the fairway and all this sort of stuff. Hopefully no one at Stonecutters Ridge is listening to this.
I think the general manager is a Pilgrim.
Yeah. Long time ago now.
Yeah, you're not a member anymore anyway.
Yeah,
so
I sort of look back because I reckon that, and my daughter's a little bit young at this stage. She's only 8, but she's already asked a number of times to come out and play golf with me. And that's what I'm going to do probably for the first couple of years is just put her junior set of golf clubs on the back of the cart, hire a cart, and just let her have fun and see where she goes with it. Because I'd love to obviously have one of my kids get into golf and catch the golf bug. I mean, they're both playing tennis at the moment, which is great. Tennis is a great sport, but I'd love for one of them to just one of them to be able to catch the golf bug, so I've got more of an excuse to get out in the golf course. Yeah,
I think, look, to be honest, I think in time it will happen, and you'll probably find that they both will in their own way. But you're spot on, and there's, Golf Beneath the Surface actually gives some great parenting advice of not just beginner, but even, looking after the way that you might deal with, kids that have got a lot of ability and are working through things. And I think there's a lot to learn from those guys. And that's opened my eyes to a few things as a parent too. And that's where, on this, we were having a good time. We weren't keeping score. We were just playing some shots and, trying to have a few little pointers here and there, but also being super mindful of not over instructing, because that's a massive turn off for a young golfer. Just a couple of things working on, just, pick a target, line up, try and hit the ball. And and the other one is watch it till it stops. But
one of the I guess leading into that sort of conversation that was on Golf Beneath the Surface on this podcast was Dr. Raymond Pryor was talking about the way that that kids, and especially young kids, need to have that unconditional security that they don't need to be anyone as such. And talk about expectation. And we had a brief sort of conversation of expectation when I was talking about my round. But that's the whole thing, is that the unstructured play with no expectation, and regardless of what they do, whether it's good, bad, or whatever, you're still going to be there, and you're going to give them unconditional love at the end of it. And as they get better, that still needs to be prevalent, in regardless on whether they play good, average, or not. You're still going to go out and get an ice cream at the end of the round and
spot on,
treat them exactly the same.
Spot on. Linked to that is also, and this can be done even well-meaning when you're giving kids praise for, playing well. That actually then can create the fixed mindset, because it links the, I get praise when I am good at golf. Being a good golfer is important to me. Therefore, having a bad round is a real identity shock and creates all those things. It's all very relevant. By way of making this relevant to our stories tonight and to the Pilgrims, is that's through the lens of dealing with kids in sport. But the little kid inside you never goes away, and it's actually important to treat yourself like that the whole time. And we could both take that on board for the reflections of these rounds as well, of, it's a round, it's one step in many, and there's good parts of it, there's bad parts of it. That's golf. That's going to happen. But when you look at it, you go, all right, there's skill execution that could improve in certain areas, but then at the same time, there's really good stuff about staying connected to the round and staying in the fight and staying in the grind. and embracing the grind. And that's more important than I'm a good golfer because I had a round today, or I'm a bad golfer because I had a bad round today.
Yeah, 100%. Completely agree.
There's a lot to think about.
There is.
And whilst we think about all of those things, Andy Walker, is there anything that we should do to help us think it through?
Well, look, I mean, I've actually been getting into a little bit of meditation in recent times, and I've actually tacked it on the end of my exercise sessions. And meditation is really good to be able to calm the mind and set yourself up for the day, which I think is really, really important. But then there's another thing that I think is also super, super important that you need to do just to hype yourself up a bit and get that energy flow.
Or maybe to unwind if you need to. I think we're on the same page here, Andy Walker, but just to make sure, please tell me what this thing is.
Rock out, Pilgrims.
Thanks for listening to us today. We love hearing from our pilgrims, so please reach out to us through any of the links in the show notes. We know golf is hard, so we hope we can help you shoot better scores and inspire you to keep trying. Rock on, pilgrims.